Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to the video. There's another paid request, this time for Nate. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for World's Greatest Dad from 2009. Directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. Yes, Ned, or Zed, I should say. Zed from Police Academy 2, 3, and 4. Guy going really crazy, and he was with Whoopi Goldberg and Burglar, and that same Bobcat Goldthwait, he was a director. He did Let Sleeping Dogs Lie, where a guy finds a secret about his girl that at one point she sucked off a dog. I'm not kidding, that's the plot of the film. And then this, it's also very darkly comic, black comedy type of movie. Long way for those Police Academy movies. And it stars Robin Williams. And it's very sad to see this film, especially a film where, well, that's a spoiler. I remember when Robin Williams died. I cried. It's strange because I never met the guy. The guy never knew I existed. Obviously, it made sense. I mean, you never met the guy. Technically, a total stranger. But the way, the perception, the nice things people say about him, the way he conducted interviews, and just the way he was in movies. Yes, he had, demons of, like a lot of comedians do. Angst and depression. But he brought a lot of joy. And there's a lot of times he seemed like he was filled with a lot of joy. I still remember the story of Judith, who was working on Cadillac Man, and she was getting ready to do this film called Ninja Turtles, as she tells about how Robin Williams gave her comic books of the Ninja Turtles for her to know a bit of what she was getting into. I mean, he named his daughter Zelda. I mean, it's one of those things where if things were perfect, remember that movie Pixels? That crappy Adam Sandler film? If you had, like, a better director, and you had, like, Robin Williams, well, Chris Columbus is a decent director if you had a better script. If you had a much, much better script, and you had someone like Robin Williams in the lead, that would have been, I think, a lot better of a movie. But again, would need a better script as well. And a better supporting cast. A lot of better shit. But then, like, not only that he died, but the way he died, and it's because of his mind. This guy was so smart in interviews, he could go in 100 different directions. And then pretty much this mind fighting itself, and whether you want to call it dementia, whether you want brain disease, however you want to put it, like, that's why he did what he did, was because of his mind being affected in that manner. It's just really depressing. Then when you watch a movie with Robin Williams with some pretty depressing stuff in it, it was a bit in a tough viewing experience. But I've seen this film before. I think when I first saw it, I'm like, eh. But seeing it now, kind of that reaction. This is not a favorite Robin Williams film of mine. Mine is Club Paradise. Is my personal favorite. Of course, I like Aladdin. I like Mrs. Doubtfire. Good Morning Vietnam. Love Jumanji, the first one. The one with him in it. The ones with The Rock, crock or crap, suck, in my opinion. I like The Birdcage. Good Will Hunting, solid performance. Really enjoyed What Dreams May Come. Toys, I have fun with Toys. I think that's underrated. I hated the final cut. I hated that film, especially the ending. The ending was just so unsatisfying and depressing, and just hate the final cut. That's one of my least favorite Robin Williams films. This one, at least, there's some interesting ideas. I do think Robin gives a very solid performance, and it's a nice take on how certain worship of certain individuals that's very hypocritical, but that's sad state of affairs of truthfulness to it. Robin Williams plays a guy who is a writer, but he's a failed writer. Just nothing of his has been published. He's a teacher, but he's a failed teacher. Just people are barely in his poetry class. He dreams of fame and a bit of money. And his son is the worst piece of dog shit teenager you would ever see in a movie. He's about as bad as that fucking guy in Return to Sleepaway Camp. That annoying fuck of a character. I forget what the hell. He had some type of fucking tagline he kept saying, like, over and over again. Shit on it, or whatever the fuck it was. As pretty much as horrible as that fucking character. And he's a pervert, like the kid, this teenager. He's a fucking pervert. He has autoerotic asphyxiation, where you're choking yourself with a towel or something, but then you're jerking off. And like Robin Williams finds him at one point. Oh, Dad, why you come in? And he's just a piece of shit. He's perverted. He tells this nice kid Andrew about this porn he found, this German stat porn, shit porn. He treats everybody like crap. He treats his own dad like crap. He keeps using the word that rhymes with tag. Starts with an F though. Rhymes with bag, but it starts with an F. Calling everybody and everything that. Calling music that. Oh, gay. All music is gay, you know. Just a weird, shitty asshole that no one likes. And there's a reason why no one likes. He's a complete other douchebag. He's saying lines like, hey, that pussy's not going to eat itself. You're just waiting for everybody to beat the shit out of this kid. But at least, unlike Return to Sleepaway Camp, there is a reason why this kid is so shitty. There's a reason why he's such a unlikable prick. So at least I'll give Bobcat Goldthwait that credit. There's a reason for it. And as a director, I mean, this is a lot better than that Bigfoot movie he did that I saw. And I already forgot what the hell it was called. But yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait did direct a Bigfoot movie where there was like a fucking 10-15 minute scene in just 1/10 that was boring as hell. So people, I don't, how could you not like the film? Willow Creek or something? I think I did a rant, but it was like an insomniac rant because I couldn't fucking sleep, but at the same time, this movie bored the shit out of me, so it's in the dark and I'm ranting and raving. I think it's still up. I think it's Willow Creek. I'm like, if you want to see a Bigfoot it's a found footage movie too. It's a Bigfoot and found footage movie. I'm like, if I want to see that, It Exists was a lot better than that. Just my opinion. But I mean, I know it's trying to make Robin Williams his character such a failed being, but I felt sorry for him. And then kind of liked him because I felt sorry for him. And because it's Robin Williams. Like, man, you have to deal with this fucking kid every day, and then he has his girlfriend, but it seems like the girlfriend is barely into him, or is into him whenever she feels like it, and has this nice neighbor, and they both like zombie movies, including Night of the Living Dead. That was an interesting little tidbit. And the first, 20-30 minutes is getting to know these characters, how shitty this son is, how there's his friend Andrew, who seems like a pretty decent kid, seems like the son Robin Williams should have. And he treats people like shit at school, and at the end, Robin Williams trying to do the best he can. There's even a point where Andrew says, "I liked your dad," and then the actual son just talks shit about Robin. And Robin Williams is trying to be a good dad, but I don't know how the fuck do you work with this Antichrist. I like the bit where Robin says, "If you don't act right at dinner, I'll stab you in the face." I did like that. So I would say this was a movie I laughed a lot, and I LOL'd as they call it today. I didn't laugh my ass off with the film, but like I said, I appreciate and enjoyed. Plus, I miss Robert Williams still to this day, so maybe I'm more lenient on a lot of his films because of that. And then you get to the scene where, I don't want to say spoilers because a lot of people won't see this coming. Like, you look at the cover seems like it would be much more of a, even if drama is still much more of a looser comedy. World's Greatest Dad. It doesn't seem like a film that, spoilers, 30 minutes in, Robin Williams finds his son dead from his stupidity of doing the autoerotic asphyxiation, and he accidentally hung himself while trying to jerk off. And I liked what Bobcat did. I liked that Robin Williams breaks down, and he does a great job acting like a father who lost his son, despite how much of a piece of shit it was. Like him breaking down and crying, and the fact it's all done with no sound or crying, just music. Pretty decent music too. I thought that made the scene very effective, and also made me feel even more sorry for Robin's character. Really nice emotion. Now, granted, I'm like, good, fuck him, fuck this kid, but it's his son, the character, so that makes sense in that instance. Robin Williams' character is a good guy, and then he's ready to call the cops, but he's like, well, do I really want the world to find him this way? Even that type of embarrassment. So he basically looked like a suicide, puts a suicide note, calls the cops. Thankfully, the cops took his word for it, didn't do any fingerprints on the, no fingerprints on the note. Why is your fingerprints on this letter? Thankfully the cops believed it was suicide and not foul play. Because you never know. I mean, cops try to look at all aspects, I would think. Not in this instance. So when he goes to school, then that's where you get the hypocrisy, where people go, oh my god. Especially when the suicide note gets, someone steals it and publishes it in the school newspaper and such. Then everyone comes up, an army, and hugs Robin Williams. Everyone's so fake and phony, and oh man, he was such a great soul, and oh my god, he was so misunderstood, and oh my god. It's that false idol worship of a character that really none of you cared about anyway. You didn't give a shit. And he was not this deep of a character. He wasn't this deep of a personality. They only base it on Robin Williams' writing of the note, but they don't know he wrote it. And because of that, Robin gets publicity and fame. I mean, he gets, his girlfriend's more into him. His students, his class is more packed. He's now getting on shows, especially when this journal pops up, which people are asking, did he have a journal with more writing? So finally his writing is actually being seen by others. But Again, they just don't know that he wrote it. They think the son wrote it. And the only one that thinks there's something weird going on is the Andrew kid. You even have Bruce Hornsby, who makes an actual appearance in the movie. Now, one thing I will say about the film, people don't think this is a bit of a weird nitpick. The movie does showcase that at times Robin Williams does struggle with it, but to me, it wasn't nearly enough, considering what happens at the end. I mean, you see little bits and pieces like Andrew thinks something's up, Robin Williams says something really nasty, and you can tell from his face he regrets saying it. Because, Andrew is, a decent kid. He'll look around all the posters where people go, I love you. And I think his kid's name was Kyle. I love you, Kyle. What would Kyle do? We miss you, Kyle. He's on a talk show, and he's trying to talk about how his son was so nice and decent, but he's laughing. Like, he can't keep a straight face because he knows what he's saying is such total bullshit, because his son was nothing like that. I guess I would have liked to have seen even more struggle with him having to deal with the lies he has told. Whether that was... I like, much earlier in the film, there's this decent conversation he has with his neighbor. Like a nice little sweet one. Maybe like one more conversation with the neighbor, or one more conversation with Andrew, or one more or a few more instances of just like a montage of him staring. Like, there's a brief of him staring at stuff, but even just like one moment where he's going down a hallway and all these people talk about how his son was this and that, and just much more of a realization these people are so full of shit. I don't know how to word it. I just wanted a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just more, a little bit more of that struggle. Because it seemed, when he does tell the truth, it was almost by impulse. Now, granted, it's not 100% that, because there are little moments. But he did go on the talk show. He did go to this and that, and just... It didn't... Because I didn't buy 100% that he just had this change of heart of, I'm going to just tell the truth. And then by telling the truth, he felt free. That's what I mean. I wanted to see a bit more struggle, because he always wanted this fame. He seemed like he was loving the attention for a good chunk of it. That's why, again, I wish I could have seen a bit more struggle. Like, he's home alone, and he's like maybe looking at the picture of his kid, or just he's hearing these things, but it's not giving him the satisfaction he thought it could. Again, I just wanted to see a bit more, so that the ending would hit a bit more impactful when he tells the truth. Now, I do like the moment, I do like the song choice where he tells the truth, he walks out, even though everyone hates him, he still feels free, and he even takes off all his clothes, and he's running naked and going to a pool, and the song Under Pressure. This is the last dance. David Bowie, who's sadly we lost him as well. Again, that's really my biggest... The two big nitpicks is, again, I don't think the film was a... I think it worked more as a drama than a comedy. There weren't really a lot of times I was laughing. So again, I think it was more of... It's labeled a comedy, but I think it was more as a drama. There's little moments that made me smirk, but again, there weren't a lot of big laugh-aloud moments compared to what a lot of other people felt. And yeah, just a little bit more of that, trying to come to terms for his eventual come to Jesus moment, tell everybody the truth. That no, my son was a douchebag, and he didn't write this, and blah blah blah. I did like the moment at the end where Andrew comes up and goes, "Yeah, I figured you wrote those. I liked it." Really? Yeah, you should keep writing. I will. And then invites Andrew to the neighbor where they have their brownies and they watch a zombie film. And in a way, I like it because that's in a way it's the family he always wanted. You know, you have this son figure whose mom's an alcoholic and things aren't going well at home, and he's looking for a father figure. And that's why I would have not minded like a few more conversations between Ron Williams and the Andrew character, maybe a few more of that, and that could have led to the realization or the culmination of the film. Because one of his big fears at the beginning of the film is to not that he's going to be alone. But here he's not alone, despite everyone else hates him. In this moment, he's not alone, so it makes him a bit happier. And listen, the movie's kind of a decent take on this fake phony worship when someone dies, where they're brought to such much more of a pinnacle than they really truly were, which happens quite a bit. I don't know, maybe there could have been some bit more biting satire in the second half, kind of like Heathers. Like Heathers, I felt had a bit more bite and was a bit funnier compared to this. And, so there's all the nitpicks I have. But overall, I didn't mind the film for what it was. It's not a film I would really rewatch again. But, it was still interesting to see Bobcat Goldthwait direct this kind of movie. And I still thought Robin Williams did a fairly good job in this. So, at the very least, to watch him, it was nice to see. And once again, a reminder that he wasn't just a great comedic actor; he was a wonderful dramatic actor as well. And I really do miss the guy. I mean, I can even watch. I hate to say it, but I could even watch RV and Old Dogs because of Robin Williams. And those are not pinnacles of cinema, but they're flawed. But I could watch them at the very least as easygoing time wasters because of Robin Williams. So, I guess, like I said, I'm a bit more lenient on him than others. But I said, I really loved the guy. And one of the few celebrities that I cried, like I mentioned, when they died. So with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.